That was karma served to a landlord who thought he could treat his tenant like garbage. But I want to hear your story. Tell me about the most abusive landlord or property manager you've ever had. We all know landlords can be a pain sometimes, but stories like these just make me really grateful that I bought my own home. This was my first apartment ever. I signed a 2-year lease and the apartment had tons of issues from the start. I took photos and videos of everything. And a few months after moving in, I started fixing things up. The walls were super dated, so I painted. I also ordered new blinds, curtains and carpet. Then I started running into problems. First, the landlord knocked on my door saying she heard me drilling holes to hang pictures. I explained that I only used adhesive strips. She said that I needed written permission for anything I wanted to change and I told her that the lease stated otherwise. She claimed that the lease was wrong. Second, she accused me of damaging walls and doors. The doors were actually warped and damaged prior to me moving in. I showed her the photos I took and she said that she would have to look into it. Third, I had a small fire due to faulty wiring. I barely escaped. I was covered in burns and cuts. Fortunately, no one else was hurt. I contacted my insurance company immediately and they filed a claim. They told me to contact the landlord directly. I provided the claim number, date of the fire and a copy of the police report. The landlord threatened to evict me because I didn't notify her within 72 hours. I told her that I was in a hospital recovering and that state law required her to wait 90 days before eviction for non-payment of rent. Her exact words, "I don't care if you're burned to death, I'm evicting you." My insurance company reached out to her to settle the claim and she claimed that I had set the fire on purpose to collect insurance money. She demanded that I vacate the premises immediately and stop contacting her. I stopped contacting her. The repairs were going to take longer than expected and I needed somewhere to stay temporarily. My friend offered for me to live with her while my apartment was being fixed. Insurance approved. My new place was ready and I gave notice to my landlord. Fast forward to the end of the lease. My landlord demanded a walk-through inspection to ensure that I didn't damage the apartment. She said that I owed her $1,800 for damages and that I had to pay before I received my security deposit back. I asked for an itemized list, photos, and receipts for the damages. She texted me a total of 3 times. The total amount was $1,800. The charges included $1,200 for painting and $600 for blinds, curtains, and carpet. These were items that I bought and installed, not her. She never provided a receipt or photo proof of any damages or work done. The clock started ticking on my security deposit. My apartment was built in the 1920s. I rented it as is. It was priced below market value. I signed a 12-month lease. The day I signed it, I discovered several areas of black mold. I noticed that the HVAC system was not working properly and the thermostat didn't control the temperature. I contacted the landlord to request a few more weeks on the lease. She responded by sending a notice of my violation of the lease agreement. According to her, the lease ended on the date that it was signed. She said that I had to move out immediately. I asked for another 30 days. She said that I could have it if I paid an additional $875 in rent. I agreed. At the beginning of the second month, she notified me that the repairs were finished and that she would like me to return the keys. I told her that I requested 30 more days on the lease and she granted it. She responded by saying that I had to move out in the next 72 hours or she would begin eviction proceedings. I called her bluff. I figured that she wouldn't follow through because she would have to appear in court. The very next day, I was served with an eviction notice. The case went to court and the judge ruled in my favor. The judge said that since I had a lease and my landlord never appeared in court, she couldn't prove her case. One evening, I smelled smoke coming from under my door. I opened it just a crack and could see smoke billowing out from under the doorstop. I quickly closed the door and called 911. When I opened the door again, firefighters were inside my apartment. The hallway was filled with smoke. The fire originated from the room that I had been renting. The fire marshal determined that the cause was faulty electrical wiring. I learned that the apartment's electrical panel was shared with the apartment next door. One of the tenants in the neighboring unit must have pulled too many amps. It caused a circuit overload and started a fire. Because we shared an electrical panel, the fire spread to my unit. The neighboring tenant and I both lost our homes. I'm just glad we both made it out safely. This place was a complete dump and the landlord had zero interest in making any repairs. Anytime something broke, he would simply tell me to fix it myself. If you think this story ends there, you'd be wrong. You see, there was a leak in the ceiling. Instead of repairing it, he said that I could have it fixed by a handyman of my choice and he would deduct the cost from my security deposit. The only problem was the handyman's estimate was $1,500, which was more than my entire security deposit. This guy truly was the worst. Not only did he fail to maintain the property, but he seemed to take great pleasure in hassling me. I would get phone calls and text messages from him multiple times per day. He would call me at all hours of the night demanding that I pay my rent. He'd say things like, "Are you trying to screw me over?" Even though I paid my rent on time every single month, he would threaten to evict me for non-payment of rent. He claimed that I hadn't paid for certain months, even though I had bank statements showing otherwise. The final straw came when he started threatening to have me evicted for having a small dog. I signed the lease with my pet, a small dog, and he knew it. At the time, I was 7 months pregnant. I told him that I could not get rid of my service animal. He said that he would sue me for breach of contract and eviction. I told him that he could try, but he would have to go to court. The following Saturday, I got a call from my landlord. He said that I had to get rid of my dog. I told him that I couldn't. He hung up on me. On Tuesday, I got a call from my landlord. He said that he was filing for eviction. I told him that he would have to go to court. He hung up on me. The following Thursday, I got a call from my landlord. He said that I had to be out of my apartment by Sunday. I told him that he would have to go to court. He hung up on me. That Friday, I got a call from my landlord. He said that I had to be out of my apartment by Monday. I told him that he would have to go to court. He hung up on me. The following Monday, I received an eviction notice. I showed it to my attorney, who advised me to go to court and get it dismissed. The judge dismissed the eviction notice. The judge said that my landlord never proved that I didn't have a service animal. The judge also said that my landlord had no grounds for eviction. My landlord appealed the decision. The appellate court upheld the lower court's decision.